Well, we are embarking on the latest garden adventure. Oh, there might be some wind noise. Can't complain about a breeze. Anyway, we are embarking on the latest garden adventure, which is going to be this effort to plant fall potatoes in the south, in the Gulf Coast. So I have no idea if this will work or not, but hopefully. But yeah, I'm gonna try it out. If it does, it'll be pretty awesome to get a big crop of fall potatoes, because obviously down here it gets way too hot in summertime to run them through the summer. So you gotta try to get them in early spring or maybe late fall, and hopefully they'll mature before the first frost. The risk is, from what I can tell, my risk will be that it is too hot as the potato plants are starting to grow as young plants, and that maybe that'll mess them up. But I'm really not sure what part of the heat, really kills the potato plant, or that they're not tolerant of. If it's too hot of a soil, or just too hot of a daytime temperature, or lack of water, or what. Or I don't really even know what heat does. I just know that you plant potatoes in the spring and eventually they burn up in the summer. So anyway, what I'm going to do today, because we haven't been eating any of this zucchini anyway, is I'm going to peel off all this plastic. This is where the sweet corn was at, and the green beans. I'm gonna pick up all the boards, peel off all the plastic, rip out all the zucchini, and I'm gonna just drag. I've got my harrow on, which I've told you guys, I normally try to do no-till gardening, but I'm also still trying to get this whole area established as garden. So I'm gonna start ripping here and dragging everything that way, and trying to pull some of this compost and good soil over into this crappy soil, just to kind of get something in it. I'm also going to be shuttling some manure home from the neighbors, I believe, to try to help add more over there. But my goal is, by the end of the day, basically have everything from here to those logs, or a little past, be all tilled and plantable. And again, I say tilled, I'm just using the harrow just to break up the subsoil. We're going to put out compost. We're going to plow ditches, which will use a middle buster plow, which will plow a ditch and make an alternate hill to be able to cover the potatoes with, and then we're going to actually plant them in hay. So it's a bit of a complex process I'm going to go through, but I just want to give you that introduction on what my plan is, so you guys can kind of see before, and we'll show you after. Okay, so we just got our plastic peeled off, got all of our boards picked up here, got our plastic peeled off. And I just wanted to mention this to you guys again. I know I've talked about this before, but I like talking about it. This is why I do the plastic, because this is where the green beans were at, mowed them down, and it's pretty much all decomposed. Definitely decomposed enough that you can plant through it and hoe through it, no problem. But the biggest thing is not even just the decomposition. You can see the corn didn't break down nearly as well, but it's a much hardier plant. I did not mow over it, and it hasn't been under plastic nearly as long. It's been under like the green beans were under plastic almost an extra month in comparison to the corn. But it's dry, it'll break up. Worst case is I'll have a little pile of corn stalks over here when I'm done plowing. It might keep gumming up my tines there, but no worse than the squash plants are going to do, because they're still fresh and green. So we're going to start breaking over there and try to break up that hard pack stuff first. I want to minimize how much I run the tractor across this area, because this is really, really good soil, really good tilth in it. I don't want to compact it if I can help it. So we're going to really work on this stuff that's super compacted already anyway, and then we'll come back and we'll kind of pull this into it to integrate into it. But yeah, just want to show you that. It may not look all that pretty because the corn stalks are still there, but by God, it's weed free. Okay, well here's your end of shift report, I guess, for the potato prep. So very different picture now than how it was. Standing over on the opposite side, but you can see where the corn was at for reference. So everything that looks fresh and dark is all where it was real hard packed. And so like I said I was going to do, I went through and I ripped it first with the harrow just to kind of break up that crust. And then I spent about 2 hours back and forth to my neighbors and used up my whole stockpile of compost that he had over there, and used up my own stockpile of compost that was stacked back here from our goats from this past winter. So just dumped it all in here in piles and heaps, and then ran through it again with the harrow, which in doing so, of course, snagged out a lot of the hay strings and trash from his place, and also from mine. See, there's a bunch of hay strings there. Hay strings and grass. From mine, there was a whole bunch of grass growed up in it. Really naughty grass, actually. So no hay strings. I mean, we make it a very serious point to not trash up our own compost like my neighbor does, but hey, that is what it is. That's just a big old lump. Looks like there's some, oh yeah, there's some mesh in there. Maybe it's just roots, I don't know. It looks like there's some net wrap. There was something over here I was coming to get. Oh, yeah, there's a whole damn a raincoat. I mean, it's the most random junk. I already got one tractor bucket full of hay strings and trash out of here before I even went through it with a harrow. So anyway, yeah, I went through it with the harrow. Let's see, ran it all from there to here. Had a big heap of wadded up grass and strings. So I tossed all that out here. Ran it back the other way, had a smaller heap. So I picked through that and tossed it over here. And then I ran this way with that heap and drug the whole thing that way, and had pretty much nothing left of junk on the far end there. And so then I just made one little sweeping pass across, you know, from here to here, just to kind of rake it up. That's what this right in here is, and that. It's mostly grass, honestly. That's all my zucchini vines there. So anyway, the whole area is cleaned up now the way I wanted it. Maybe I could pull the harrow through there and pull out the corn stalks, but I don't think they're really going to give me too much trouble. So now what we'll do to plant the potatoes, like I said, we're going to take the harrow off. We're going to put the middle buster plow on, and we're just going to run shallow trenches north to south here. And by just cutting, I mean just a couple inches for that trench to lay the seed potato in, and rake a little dirt back on top of it. But that will make an adjoining hill beside it, which normally they would say hill up the potatoes. But since we're going to be laying them out in hay, I think I'm actually going to leave them in the trenches instead. I don't know if that's right or wrong. Well, I don't know. I'm just trying to mechanize as much as I can because it's a lot to plant. I don't know. Let me think on that a little bit more. I'll let you know what I decide to do. I'm just wondering if I have them planted in trenches, even a couple inches deep, if that'll make them, you know, stay wet and rot the potatoes. Maybe that's why I need to have them up on a hill instead. So maybe I'll cut the trenches to make a hill and put the potatoes in that. That'll still work, you know, either way. Maybe you have to cut the trench to make a hill and then cut a little furrow in it with a pointed hoe, but there's a clump of grass I need to get out. Anyway, looks awesome. You know, all of this basically, like I said, everything that's fresh was not currently under garden, and so now it will be. It'll be under potatoes, and whatever the potatoes don't use up out here, I'll go ahead and get back under plastic just to keep it clean, and it'll be space that'll be ready and available for our fall garden. So that's it for prep, I think. Probably make a second video about actually planting.